girl on fire. I'm not a victim, a girl on fire. I'll stand my ground, girl on fire. I've made a choice, I stand proud. I'm a girl on fire. I'm a mother, a daughter, a sister, a friend. I'm every woman. I have taken up arms and I choose to defend all that I hold dear. Independent and strong, you will not keep me down. You can't break me.
Lynette Oxley here for Tactical TV and Dosa Girls on Fire 16 Days of Action for No Violence Against Women and Children. I'm here with the beautiful Risha. She is the founder and executive director of iLead. Welcome, Risha.
Thank you, Lynette. I appreciate your time today.
Let's start with a general question. Who is Risha?
I love that. I am the founder, as you said, and executive director of iLead. And I think more than that, my goal here is just to empower and share the program as much as possible. So if you ask who am I am iLead. Yeah, I'd like to start there.
Right, tell us a little bit about your near kidnapping experience and how that influenced your life path.
Well, my professional background is corporate IT. And I was traveling. I was actually walking on the streets of Joburg in 2012. I was going to a meeting, and you're sort of unaware at that point, especially when you're in a different environment. You're focused on work and getting to where you need to be. And I was almost grabbed and taken into a vehicle by three men. I was able to fight back because I have a martial arts background. And that is the inspiration behind iLead. The fact that I fought back was, saved my life that day. And thinking that there's lots of other people that don't have that opportunity has created this need, this absolute need for self-defense training.
How many attackers were there when you on the street? Was there more than one or just one person? Were they in a car?
They were actually, it's interesting. It was your sense of awareness plays a huge factor in everything you do. And I think growing up, being situationally aware, I actually was able to notice before the incident even happened, one person on the right-hand side of my walking path and two people in a vehicle on the left-hand side of my walking path. And at some point while walking towards us, what caught my attention is that it merged. The two people from the vehicle started walking towards third person, and I obviously was the intersecting factor. So there were three people involved. And fortunately for me in that situation, there was just one of them that grabbed my hand. And it was having a fast response time, a very fast reaction time. When that happened and, the grab was fast and then a pull towards the vehicle, I already had steadied myself at that point. The fact that I steadied myself, grabbed back, to balance and then, basically I strike repeatedly for his face. So that in itself was enough to not scare, but deter the other two from even coming closer. To be honest with you, there were three, but I didn't even look to see. I saw them coming towards me once I had hit back with the first attacker. There was just no time for anything else. He moved away. He was as shocked as anything, and I was able to get away safely at that point. So there were three, but physically it was one-on-one.
So he didn't expect you to fight back, I'm sure.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think, seeing, somebody that's small built in a work suit walking on the street, there's also how people perceive you. They don't perceive you as a threat. And yeah, it's knowing. It's more about knowing how to use your body and the techniques. It's not about your strength level. If you understand the technique, then you can very effectively protect yourself.
You have quite an impressive. We can move on to that impressive CV in terms of martial arts. Can you tell us which disciplines you are and were involved in? How did you start, and how old were you when you started?
there's I'll give you a bit of personal detail. There's three sisters, and Eileen is the three of us siblings. And when we were very young, my dad insisted that we do some sort of martial arts, and I think it was one of the best things that he could motivate us to do and push us into doing. I started when I was very young, so I was about 5 years old at the time, and I studied for many years a traditional form of karate called Kyokushinkai, and it's sort of it's traditional karate, but also street and self-defense both into it. So that was my first experience with it, and thereafter I went on to, I had enjoyed it. It was again about knowing how to defend myself. I loved feeling empowered that way. That if something did happen, you grow up in a country that is violent. We grow up in South Africa and try and ignore the fact that it is a violent country. There is a lot of crime. There are criminals and perpetrators of those crimes walking around us. So we try and ignore that fact. But if we pay more attention to, yes, we're choosing to live here, and yes, we can actually be more conscious about our safety and the decisions we take. And I started this when I was very young, as you asked, and from there it spun on into the art of samurai and Muay Thai and weapons defense and hand-to-hand combat. So there were a few things, and it just grew from there. And right now I'm currently studying with a pro MMA fighter in the States, Chelsea Kyan McGrath. So it's just taken us in different directions, but it's been quite a journey. You are right.
But it's not been for you about sport, am I correct? Did you enjoy it as a sport, or was it always just for you about self-defense and feeling empowered?
I thoroughly enjoy the sport, but it was never about competing and recognition in terms of that. It was understanding it enough to actually defend myself and protect myself if I was in that situation. And if we grew up in this country, there's a few times that you experience dangerous things. So every single time that I experienced something dangerous, I was thankful that I had a martial arts background. There was always something, whether it was building awareness, assertiveness. It's not about being aggressive in your training. It's not about being aggressive in the way you fight. It's about understanding that your body can protect you, your body can, and that's what it was for me, and maybe I didn't understand it or verbalize it the way I am right now, but if I look back, every single time it was never about a competition, or it was, this is amazing, I can learn to use my elbows, my knees, oh, this is how this weapon works. That's what it was about. It was more about, being passionate about understanding this discipline.
That's amazing. So when did you start iLead, and what does iLead stand for? You say it's the three sisters that started.
Actually, iLead began in 2012. So following my near grabbing, I realized we actually took a bit of a business approach to it. We had a look at case studies. We started doing case studies, looking at the South African landscape and looking at violence against women. And when these men tried to grab me off the street, at that point I didn't even realize that could happen. That I could just be walking to a meeting and minding my own business, and people could randomly come and grab you and put you into a vehicle and take you away. So it wasn't as common back then. And when it happened to me, I realized that is where we need to focus. I needed to focus my efforts. So it became a passion project, a community-based project. And we started in 2012 following that incident. The incident was the inspiration for it. And since then, it was just working with shelters. And it was more focusing on, so the use cases show that it was people in the most vulnerable areas that didn't have access to dojos and karate and martial arts and MMA studios or anything like that. It was people in rural areas that were most vulnerable and people in the poorer communities. Irrespective of color, it was the poor communities where they had little to no alternatives, right? So this was more to provide an alternative. We started focusing on gender-based violence and human trafficking shelters. And that is how iLead started. That was the origins of iLead. And of course, with gender-based violence coming more and more into the public eye over recent years, we started servicing corporates and schools and universities. So iLead evolved since 2012. But what it means is learn, empower, achieve, and defend. So learning, as in we are continuously learning, empowering ourselves through our education, learn, empower, achieving our goals and defending ourselves, whether it is through physical means or, through your voice, even, asserting your boundaries, be it, whatever the case may be. So I lead essentially stands for that. Each person is responsible for themselves, and that is what they can achieve. And we started a more cyclical approach, a holistic approach to empowering women. So at first it was just self-defense, looking at how to empower through violence prevention skills, safety awareness, self-defense. And thereafter, we sort of realized, if you don't look at other aspects, these same people that we're helping end up back on the street, back with the traffickers. So it has to be a full empowerment cycle. And iLead's empowerment cycle is then now teaching violence prevention skills. And the second part to it is adding education. So offering people that are within our program, if you qualify for it, we offer you free CETA accredited education through our partners. And we've got a ton of partners that are incredible and assist in those areas. And the last aspect of it is your financial independence through be it internships or job opportunities. So actually taking you, teaching you violence prevention, educating you in the skill set, and thereafter moving on to your financial gain from it. So that is the iLead empowerment cycle in a nutshell.
That's very, very interesting. I was going to ask you about your partners a bit later, but you just mentioned them. Do you want to maybe expand a bit on that?
Wow, we've found that a problem this big, and I think everyone's aware of it, cannot be solved by one person or one organization alone, right? And we have to. We're all fighting the same cause. So we have found so many incredible organizations, like-minded, that have joined to facilitate gaps in terms of the work that we do. So be it whether we're needing, assistance from counselors and psychologists and legals, and we've found organizations that work with us in a really good way and assist, and it's just incredible people that want to do good, like yourself, that are, trying to educate
skill sets. I cannot work in the rural areas because firearms are not accessible in the poorest of the poor rural areas. It's not an option for a lot of those people. So, we have different skill sets that put us together.
Exactly. So it's about embracing that, that we've all got something to offer and that we can offer it together and to the people that we serve. And we work with, wow, incredible. I want to mention our local partners because, they are the people that really keep us going. And when we need support, they absolutely drive the support. And, a key person, and I think you've met Sam Barilla from Multitude Neighborhood Watch. She's doing incredible work and, helping. So that's one of our partners. And there's other, there's lots of other local partners as well that work to, it just there's this final stop NPO, and they come in such a great way because we do these massive workshops to communities where we're training 120 to 150 people, and they come in to communities and they sit and they do first responder services, and they've got emergency medical aid, and they can call on ambulances if there is a health type of situation. So it's just everybody helping out. And from the States, we've met incredible people as well. We've got Chelsea that I mentioned earlier. We train together regularly. I share a lot of her content because it's about sharing how to be safer, and it's the same content. Staff Go is just wow, incredible. They're sort of our sisters from another country, and it's people doing we're all doing the exact same thing to fight this fight, and it's about everyone just coming together. So I've got an exhaustive list, and I don't want to go through partners because there's too many, and I don't want to forget anyone. But it's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah.
And everyone wants, although South Africa is very violent, as we know, the same
Yeah.
with human trafficking and rape and everything else, is, and GBV is a big problem in all countries, actually. Not just a South African problem, unfortunately.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your motto: be safe, be strong, and be fabulous. I love that, fabulous. It's all, that's just.
We are fabulous people. You know, we don't need to like I would, you know, the typical idea is that somebody who is, you know, strong and butch and they'd be able to, you know, don't mess with that sort of type. It's every one of us is strong. We're all strong and we're all fabulous and we can all be safe. So our motto is about that. You know, don't change who you are, right? Be who you are, own it, be proud of who you are, and be safe while you're doing it. So that is pretty much where that comes from. And yes, we're pink, fabulous, loud, we love it.
Fabulous. What about your Brand SA Award and any other awards that you've achieved through iLead?
That was, thank you. That was also quite exciting. So Brand South Africa recognized 10 citizens for active citizenship for a 10-year period. And we were chosen from a women empowerment point of view. So the work through iLead and empowering women the way we do was chosen. And yeah, we you know, the great thing about that was that we got quite a bit of recognition in terms of media. And all that did was create, you know, help drive more people to us, create awareness. Exactly. You know, so from that award, we're incredibly grateful for the award, but what it did create was that awareness for us. And more people started reaching us. We were able to help. You know, we're in one area of Joburg, and already we've got, when we throw events, we've got people coming from everywhere, 2 hours away. You know, they would make the trip to come and do the workshop. And I think that was the best thing that came out of that event. So yeah, it was great. It was great.
And congratulations on that. Tell me a little bit about, you are geographically situated in Johannesburg. Do you function outside of Johannesburg, especially in which rural areas, and how do you do it?
Well, you know, we do a train-the-trainer program for areas that we cannot reach, but the program is very structured. And obviously, when we train, we ensure that the person that is going to on-train knows the technique, because it's important to not to give someone a false sense of confidence. So we have previously trained trainers and that came to us from an outlined area, and that was fantastic. And so that is how one way. The other way we cover it is via virtual training. And our virtual training, we've trained as far as, you know, it's close and far. So we've done global training events, and we locally we train with shelters here in South Africa. We've trained with Lefurile NPO it's a girls shelter in Everton, and that's probably about an hour and a half away from where I am. So you know, it's not about distance. It actually brings the trainer to you. So we are a mobile dojo. We don't believe that you need to be sitting, you know, in a formal dojo and going for. We believe that you can learn anywhere, right? And it's being able to access people that don't have access to this. So if we keep ourselves mobile, we're able to reach as many people or reach people easier.
That's fantastic.
I hope that answers.
Yes, it does. Communities. Do you think communities should get involved in self-defense for people inside the community, the women inside the community? And would you like communities to get more involved?
Yeah, sorry, I missed the last part of that question, if you don't mind repeating.
I'm just saying, communities do get involved in your programs. How and would you like them to get more involved in your programs in the future? What else can they do to get involved?
You know, that's such a great question. And we recently had a case where somebody had experienced violent attacks, assault, sexual assault, and she came to us from a distance, you know, from a rural area. And yes, communities do get involved. So we're working with other grassroots organizations in that area. and when the communities get involved, they can take on things like, for example, when you have incidents like this, it depends how they get involved. So this organization is working with me to follow up on stats and the dockets and with the warrant officers that were in charge, and make sure that she gets the justice that she needs, that she gets the protection that she needs. So it's not just and then there's other counselors that get involved. So at these events that we throw, it's not just about going there and talking about I lead violence prevention program. What we do is we empower in that area with all the grassroots level organizations that are available to the people in that area. Sometimes we've been recently getting SAPS involved as well. So SAPS is now meeting the community that they're serving, right? And the women that they're serving. And that's incredible. And, there's a men's organization, it's hashtag not in my name, right? International, that's called us now. And that's why I'm saying it's not, the communities are heavily involved. They've called us into another community and they said, listen, there's just too much of GBV and there's too much of violence against women. Let's throw something here. Let's create impact in this area and let's make a big event of it. And that's what we're doing in December. So it's not everyone is getting involved. Everyone wants change. It's not just women that are being abused. It's also men that are being abused, So it's two ends of it. So stop the violence. I think that's more the message now. Stop the violence, and let's see how we can, working together, even the communities, when we're going in, we're bringing in everyone that's in there. So you're coming for a class, but you're learning who the social workers are in that area, who the CPF members are in that area, who the, there's an area I went to and I love this. He heads up an organization called Gijima Tsosi in his rural area, in the township. And, they join us for the events as well. And I think that's the incredible thing when, everyone is standing up and saying no more, and everyone's standing together to push this empowerment onto women and kids. So yeah, I hope that's answered your question, but the communities do get involved, yes.
It's important for communities to have information on that, on what organizations are available within that community. I actually did a sabbatical many years ago called Community Information Resource Center. And we found, we did quite a bit of surveys in a couple of large communities, Atchesville, we did in Kagiso, there was a good couple of communities that we were involved in. And it was very interesting that people didn't know where to go if they had a drinking problem, abuse problem, or whatever. So just making that information available to those people at events like yourself does help as well.
100%.
Just two last things. First, safety tips that you can give to ladies out there. And then last, what would your message be for the 60 days of action?
For the 16 days of action, I love that. 16 days of action. That is just incredible, and I want to push on to 365 days of action from there. It's just absolutely
say that it's got to be 365 days of action.
Right. It has. We've got this, and I think every organization tries to push this, but we've got this. I've heard it said so nicely. Each one teaches one, right? And it makes sense. You coming to my workshop, you're learning from the skills. I'm coming to your workshop, I'm learning from your skill set. If I go back and I teach one other person, that's two people that you've impacted, So we try and push that as much as possible. 16 days of activism, the world has changed, the mindset has changed. It's not about being quiet, it's about talking, it's about shouting it out now. And I think the 16 days of action, the last thing that I'd like to actually leave people with is that everyone do your little bit. Every one of us shouting, together becomes one big, massive voice that you cannot not unhear. It's so it's standing in unity and us working together to achieve this, to get women safer, to get kids safer. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that I think in the entrance to the videos for the 60 days of action from TACTAC Tactical TV, we actually ended up by saying speak up, because if you don't speak up, you won't be hurt. That's about it.
I agree. I agree. No, that's it.
Thank you very much, Risha, and we'll see each other soon. If I can speak today, it's been one of those very long couple of weeks. But thank you very much for speaking to us.
No, absolute pleasure. Thank you for the interview. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Sister, a friend, I'm every woman. I have taken up arms and I choose to defend all that I hold dear. Independent and strong, you will not keep me down, you can't break me. I'm a girl on fire, I'm not a victim, a girl on fire, I'll stand my ground, girl on fire, I've made a choice, I stand proud. I'm a girl on fire. Countless hours on the range, I am responsibly armed, I am your equal. I've empowered myself, I have practiced and trained, fear won't control me. With my sisters in arms, we will make ourselves heard, we'll stand together. I'm a girl on fire, I'm not a victim, a girl on fire, I'll stand my ground, girl on fire, I've made a choice, I stand proud. I'm a girl on fire. We're girls on fire. We're not victims. We're girls on fire. We'll stand our ground. Girls on fire. We've made a choice. We stand proud. We're girls on fire.